Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a full cycle video of the Kelvinator K605 washing machine. We're going to be doing the regular cycle, large load on warm water. No extra options, we'll go ahead and get started. See, I've got some just a regular load of colors inside the machine. We're ready to get started. So I'm going to get this on the tripod real quickly while I grab some detergent, because I have a bit of a surprise for you guys. Well, you know, maybe it's not a surprise, but guess what decided to turn up at the stores again? It's the Ultramax. The Ultramax is back. So in case you guys don't know, this Ultramax is pretty special to me because this is the only detergent I could find at the stores that has phosphates in it. But then one day, Warehouse, because that's where I get it from Warehouse. Anyway, so one day the Warehouse remodeled itself, and I had a feeling that they had stopped supplying Ultramax there, so I thought that I wasn't gonna get that again. So I started using the Persil up here. But then one day I was just browsing Warehouse, not suspecting anything at all, and I see Ultramax is back on the shelves. So, there you go. Perfect timing as well, because I used to use Ultramax in this machine quite a lot when I had it. So yeah, I filled that up with water. Not yet, I haven't got white vinegar yet. Still gotta get that. See how quickly this machine can fill now that it has both of the valves working. Progress indicator, we're washing. You get a look in there, you can get a look at the fill nozzle. Really gets in there. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, it's filling up. I also like how this machine turns whenever it fills, because some of the older machines didn't do that. But I mean, like the higher end models, like this one that had the electronic machines, they actually turned the bowl when they spin, so everything gets nice and soaked in water before the wash starts. See, there we go, we started washing. I wouldn't describe the fins on this machine as very grippy, because they aren't. I mean, if you look at some pictures of them, or I'll show you like when it's done, you can see that the fins at the bottom are not very grippy at all. It's not very much to them, but that's how kind of it's able to pull off such a long stroke. And you'll see here soon that once it goes, it goes. Really sort of gets everything circulating very nicely, actually. So there you go. Kelvinator is washing again. See, it's not just going in one direction, it's going in both directions. And yeah, it's doing a really good job. I'd be curious to see what's going to happen, because there's one of the towels in here has a stain on them, and so I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to turn out. So yeah, you see wash action, nice and good. The thing about this wash action is that it's quite a time-consuming method, because the shortest regular cycle on here, which happens to be regular, is around 18 minutes. And the maxi cycle, which is the one right above it, is an additional 6 minutes of washing. So, not exactly a quick machine by any means, but I mean, it still works really well. It also has, inside the agitator, there's a lint filter. Right over here, which catches a lot of lint. And compared to some of the other lint filters that I've cleaned in the past, it's actually not that hard to get the lint out of the filter. So, I mean, that's always a plus. And it does a really good job catching the lint. So that's nice. Oh, and if you pull the whole thing off, see, that's what it looks like with the agitator off. You can see how the water is going into the middle, and it's getting sucked down into the bag where it catches everything. So yeah, these machines, this Kelvinator is quite different from some of the older ones in a few ways. Like, because the older ones, they actually had like the whole knobs. Like the water level switch had a reset function, so if you wanted more water you could add it, but this machine you can't. There is no reset on the button. So, but on the older one, which was actually an infinite water level selector, which was nice, so you could get any water level you wanted out of it. Kind of like the Maytag over here. It's not just small, medium, and high. You can literally set this thing anywhere you want. It's kind of like that, but in a knob form. And then the water temperature is just 4 selectors on a knob, and it has a warm, I believe it has a warm, because there's 4 of them. Or no, it has cold, warm, and hot, and there's another temperature that says woolens, I think, which I'm not so sure what that is, but yeah. Then you would have an options knob, which has either, you can have it off, or there's like a drip dry function, which I believe, I haven't seen it before, but I think it holds the final spin. This machine has a drip dry cycle right there, at the very end of the selector. And you can see on the instructions, it says items that are to be taken out dripping wet. Warm water is what's recommended. And then you have the main knob, which has 2 cycles, to my knowledge. So you'd have the regular cycle, which has, you either have, I believe it's called Super Wash, or no, it's not Super Wash, it's something else. But anyways, if you put it to that point, basically it washes for a little bit, and then it does a soak. And then after that, it just does another, it finishes the wash cycle. And then the point after the soak is called Maxi Wash, which is actually what it says here. So it probably goes Maxi, regular, and then next down the line somewhere is probably non-color fast, which is non-color fast items, which is the shortest point on the timer that you can see. And then after that is just spray, rinse, and spin. And then I can't quite remember how the dental cycle goes. So yeah, you'd have those options on the control panel, and it's cool because when you start it, unlike the Kelvinator's fill nozzle, which it actually divides the paths into two, so you have one stream of water flowing this way, another one flowing this way. The one on the Simpsons is just one great big shower, so there's no division, so everything gets wet. The only thing is that those older ones, they didn't turn the tub for fill. They just fill like regular machines. And yeah, but still, the fill nozzle is pretty cool. And then once it was done filling, it would have like a second pause. Because unlike this machine actually, once it's done, it kicks in straight away. But the old machines, what they used to do was, once they were done, they would have like a second pause, and then they would start. And then, yeah, they'd do what they usually do. Another thing that's kind of like a downside for this machine is that when you select the lower water level, like say if I wanted to do like a small load with a fast agitation, it wouldn't actually allow you to do the fast agitation because I guess for like energy reasons or whatever, it doesn't really need it. It decreases the agitation speed to like what you would see at the end when it pulses back and forth to like balance the load. It uses that agitation style. And oddly enough, the agitation on medium is different. It's kind of like in between that and this, which is actually kind of like an action I've never seen before. I'll have to film that one day. But if you selected the lower water on the low water level on some of the older Simpsons, you'd actually get full agitation speed, which is this, no matter what water level you've chosen, which is nice. I mean, that's always a plus. And the timer on the machine is very noisy, so you can, whenever it advances, you can hear it click. It's one of those timers. It's not like the Maytag where you can constantly hear it, but when it advances, you can really hear it just click. So, yeah. And it's quite funny, sometimes when those machines click to go into gentle, if they were going this way at the time when it clicked into gentle, they won't actually go back the other way, they'll keep going for a little bit, which kind of causes this wave of motion to happen. It's kind of like if I paused this machine when it was going this way. So let me show you. Like that. And like sometimes that can really cause a wave. But yeah, these machines, they did actually do quite a great job balancing, at least in my opinion. And they still have the same drain pump. And I think I haven't had the chance to see the inside of one of those older ones spinning. Well, maybe I have, but the rhythm of like pulsing for the spin is a bit different. I think I don't know how to describe it, because this machine kind of does like very small pulses with the motor. So it has like a brief moment of acceleration and a long pause, and it does that for a long time. But the older Simpsons, they they have the motor on for a much longer time and pulsing the tub. And they don't, the spray rinses on those machines, they don't go for as long as the one on this machine does. Although on another one I saw, what it would do was it would do one short spray rinse, stop, and then do another one, but then I saw another one did just one short spray rinse, and it didn't do another one, which was weird. I'd never seen that before, so I guess it does. This machine definitely does better than that. It does. This one does one big, long spray rinse. But yeah, I used to have a machine that did 2 short spray rinses, probably in a span of like 20 seconds, or maybe less. But yeah. Another thing that makes this machine different from some of the older ones is that when it finishes spinning, and you know how you can see it slowing down, when this machine is done spinning, what it does is it shuts the pump off, and then it coasts down to a stop, and then once it's completely stopped, it either activates the drain pump for a little bit and then starts filling for the rinse, or at the end of the cycle it will spin up again just a little bit, and then it will be enough to kind of get some momentum on the tub so that it can activate the brake. But on the older machines, for both the rinse and the spin, when it slows down, the drain pump does not shut off, it just keeps going as it's slowing down. And then before it has a chance to stop, for the rinse, the water valve immediately opens, and the machine immediately brakes while it's still coasting down. And on the final spin, when it shuts off, it just brakes. It doesn't wait for it to go down to completely, like, not spinning at all. It just brakes, and it's done. So yeah, that's another difference. Also, some of the older ones didn't have these wash program instructions. I believe these are actually kind of rare. I believe. I mean, this is only like the 3rd one I've had in person, so. That's another interesting thing, is that this one says it's 6 kg, but on the Simpson machines, they say that they're like 5.5, which is, in case you guys don't know, in the States, 5.5 is smaller. Because I believe you guys use cubic feet, but over here we use kg to measure our machines. Usually the standard one is like 8 kg, and the Maytag is a little more than 8 kg. I reckon it's like 9, 10 kg, which is a lot. And the Whirlpool, I'm not so sure what the Whirlpool is. People on Trade Me said that the Whirlpool was 6 kg. So, and it is the smallest of its kind, because it's a 24-inch model, so yeah, that's probably correct, saying that's 6 kg, so yeah. And the Fisher and Paykel is 8 as well. The thing about that machine is that it actually has the cabinet of what should be a 7 kg Fisher, because they have the agitators in them. However, because my one is an Aquasmart, and so it has a impeller at the bottom of the tub, which makes more room in there, and so it can fit more, even though it's basically still the same size cabinet and tub. Well, there you guys go. This is what the pulsing action looks like. And if it was on small, or no, extra small, this machine would be, this is what the wash action would look like. This is actually a very good job of balancing everything most of the time. I think that's actually a big thing between like the Fishers, because this is like Fisher and Paykel is, and along with this machine, these two are like the most dominating brands here. And like, these are like the best machines here, to be honest. I think this machine, in my opinion, probably comes like second to Fisher, because I quite like Fisher and Paykel more than this machine, but this machine is durable, which is nice, because it actually uses pulleys and like a motor and everything, and it's built really well, whereas the Fisher, well, the Fisher is a very simple design. So, yeah, and you can actually like listen to the pump. It's like a true, you can really hear the pump. So yeah, like, this is, compared to the Fisher, I'd say this is probably like a better built machine. I wouldn't say they were easier to fix, because they're not, but still, I mean, quite durable machines. I mean, I think that's why they put heavy duty there, so there you go. I think some of the weak points on these machines is, if I could mention like the control panel, then that would be a definite, because if you have a control panel, then that is probably a weak point. I mean, this one fails, so I had to fix it. Then other than that, I mean, but I haven't worked with many of these yet, so I kind of like am not sure, but I mean, a lot of the times they have kind of like spinning issues, which maybe means belts. And I know sometimes bearings go bad on these machines as well. And then also those transmission seals weren't exactly the best by any means, so sometimes they would leak oil. And you know, if you, because that's putting oil onto the clutch, so if you like happen to store your machine over a period of time and that oil hardens, then you've got a ruined clutch, which is what happened to that Simpson that I had on my channel a while back. So yeah, these machines were definitely not short of their issues, but still, I'd say they lasted a decently long time. I mean, think about it, this machine is from 2002, which makes it 20 years old, and it's still working. Now you notice here, this machine is pulsing the tub, and you might recall in my video, my update video, that I said this machine was needing a new belt. Well, that's because the reason I know it needs a new belt is because it shouldn't be at a dead stop when it's doing the spray rinses, which, as you can see, we've come to a dead stop. And if you've seen the older videos on my channel, you'll know that this machine should be going pretty fast when it's doing the spray rinses. And that just kind of hints to the belt going bad. So I'm going to try and replace that sometime, if I can, because they're like only $11. I can get them here pretty easily. Because, I mean, some of these machines, some of the parts for these machines are definitely still being made, so yeah. And I'd say these were a real success here, these machines. So yeah. Still pulsing the tub. We lost a bit of momentum, it seems. Yeah. And this is kind of like a downside to like, this is why I kind of want to replace the belt, because when it does this acceleration here, you can hear all the water getting extracted in just one go, and it's really, if you have a full load, it can be really noisy. also, this cabinet is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Cheap, probably, because it really, you see, it really wobbles, and it doesn't have. I think that's why people like Maytag put these lines on them so that they don't shake like that. Or if you come over, if you look at that over there, see how it has the lines on the cabinet? That kind of helps to stabilize the cabinet. But this one doesn't have that, so it just wobbles. And this is what I was talking about before. See, the drain pump shuts off, and rather than break the tub before it stops, it's going to wait until it's completely stopped, and then it's going to drain just a little bit, just to get all the water squeezed out during the slowdown through the drain, and then it's going to start filling again. And you also get to see how shallow the fins on the agitator are. I've also just noticed that my camera is about to die, so I'm going to put the camera on charger. Here we go. And also, this machine doesn't exactly, it doesn't sense when it's stopped. It's kind of like it times it. So if you have like a full load, sometimes it'll do it before it stops, but then if you have like a really empty load, it can take forever to go. So yeah, but yeah, see here, it kind of times it right on a regular load. And then we're filling again. Oh, and yeah, see here? Just then and there, the wash light turned off, and now we're in deep rinse. Filling with cold water. Turning the tub as we go, getting everything nice and soaked in water. And you can have a look at the fins on the agitator and see what I mean. They're not very big, not like this machine, which has pretty big fins on them. And they're especially not like the power fin machine. I mean, this is still a pretty big agitator, but the power fin agitator actually has bigger fins. And it doesn't have these other ones on the actual cylinder part of the agitator. But those fins, they can really turn the water very well. And you see, once it gets to there, it does a longer spin to gain momentum on the tub so it can walk. And then it's just going to fill up till it's done. And yeah, that's while it's at this level, you can see a couple of people have commented on this before. You can see how the tub has these baffles on them. There's about 4 of them there. I don't know why, but sometimes it looks like there's 5 from this angle, but there's actually 4. And that just kind of helps to break up everything. That way it's not just like sliding along, not getting everywhere, because now that it's getting hit by the baffles, it kind of like allows everything to get loosened properly. But yeah, a couple of people think that's an interesting design. And I guess I'll say it, I was quite intrigued by it as well when I first saw one of these machines. But I guess it's a good design feature. see, does fill quite quickly. It's not that big of a tub, but then again, we have great water pressure, so. Why did we stop? That wasn't supposed to happen. Why did it stop? What? The solenoid just quit there and then. Oh, no kidding. What? I think we just had a solenoid failure. Oh, well that sucks. Hang on, let me... What? No, no. Oh, that just sucks. Oh well. I'll have to investigate that. I'm pretty sure the solenoid just broke on camera. For now though, we'll just do this. Guess we gotta have a look at this, you can see this is the action I was talking about. See how it's not quite like the gentle agitation? And not like the regular agitation? The older Simpsons didn't have that, they just had the two. This one actually has a third agitation, which I think is really cool. And also on the permanent press cycle and the woolen cycle, this machine will, you know how you have the gentle agitation? It will agitate, and then rather than go back, it pauses. And then in the length of the time where it should have gone back, and then it will start again, then it will go back. So it's kind of like a longer version of the gentle action. But this machine, with this action, I think this action is actually quite a sweet spot, because it's not too long that it has to do a long pause, but then it's not too short that it's too gentle. I think this is quite a nice action. I can't believe the solenoid failed on camera, of all times. Like, how crazy is that? That's like... Well, I guess it's... Like, I've caught quite a few solenoid things happen on camera, because you might recall in my Whirlpool video, I thought the water solenoid was dead for some time, but then it came back alive on the extra rinse fill. Some of you guys might not know, but it did die later on again, and I couldn't get to work again, so it was actually failing. It just had like a last moment to operate. But no, this one just, rather than come back alive, it actually quit on camera. Or so I think. It's not the lid switch, because this machine will beep when it senses that the lid is open, which is very, it can discourage anyone from opening it, because it's annoying. But I think what will discourage somebody from opening the lid even further is during the spin, because I kid you not, the brake on this machine is really loud. Because it's not like the Maytag where it just kind of like, it sounds like it just kind of like coasts itself into the tub or something. This machine actually like slams the brakes shut. Well, I think it's like... So I think what it does to like release the brakes is like, because the brakes are kind of like being held in by a spring, but there's like a motor thingy-majigger that pulls back on it to release it. That's why it takes kind of long for it to do it, because it just slowly does it. But then once it stops, it just releases it and it like slams back into position, and it like creates, if it's going really quickly, that can create a humongous banging sound. And it's like, you do not want to open the lid on this machine when it's spinning. You want to leave it be, otherwise it's just going to be annoying to hear. See what I was talking about, the baffles, you can actually see them in this case. I think they did an okay job, especially considering the level we're at now, because we didn't finish the fill. Let's check on the lint real quickly. Looking good in there? Yep. Okay, we caught a bit of lint. Put it up to the light. You can't really see through it, but I gotta figure out how to get to that screw down there, because I want to take this agitator out. Because every time I go down to the, there's a place, the place that I get my machines from, because sometimes I go to this place to get washing machines to fix and then sell. There's this agitator that's been sitting there for a long time. It's like the older one that has that weird curvy bit here. And I was kind of thinking that maybe one day I'll buy it. It's not exactly in the best shape, but I mean, all the fins are still there, but it's kind of like marked and everything. But if I can figure out how to get to that screw there, I might buy it one day. And but we'd have a different agitator for this machine, which would be nice. And it'd be an older style agitator as well, because this one's kind of like a later one. The one I'm referring to has these weird finny parts here, and the base of the agitator's a bit more grippier, I think. So there we go, we're pulsing. Pulsing the spin. So the pulses it does on the final spin, it does a few more of them compared to the ones on the rinse, just to kind of, because this is like supposed to do out the proper extraction. And you notice here, it doesn't say spin yet. That's because we've still got to get to the spray rinses, because it does more of them. And then after the spray rinses, it will do that little pause it does. And then when it goes to do that final acceleration, that's when it will activate the, oh no, excuse me, that's when it will just show that on the progress indicator. And so, yeah, you see, it should have stopped by now, but because this is the spin, it's going to keep going. And you see here, it is not going anywhere, really. It should be flying by now. That's how come I know it needs a new belt. definitely really sense it's aging a lot. I mean, it's lost a button. We've got some rust going on for us over here. Hey! This is wacky. This is the cold. That's the cold water solenoid. Oh no, there it goes. It stopped too early. So something's wrong with it, because it might, maybe it's overheating. But I haven't used it today. But yeah, that stopped way too early, because it was still doing the short pulses when it stopped. There's definitely something wrong with the solenoid. I'm just surprised it opened for that little while. I might have to... The screws on? The screws are on. That's too bad. But hey, solenoids, you can still find solenoids. I can still find them on Trade. I'm pretty sure I can still find them like on Steve's Appliance Spares. So, I mean, yeah, still, and they're very cheap, so they're like only like $5, I think. Come on, focus. I can't appreciate how fast this machine spins. I mean, look at that. It's kind of wacky because this machine can put dry spots on my clothes. It's actually really nice how well this machine spins. It's also really quiet. Unlike the Fisher over there. Come on, focus, there you go. See the Fisher over there? That machine can get quite noisy whenever it spins, because it's not just the stator, because the stator itself does really whine when it gets up there. And then added to that, if you're not balanced, because most of the times it doesn't get it perfect, and it just like vibrates like you wouldn't believe. And sometimes, because this isn't my garage, but there's an office in here, and so sometimes that can irritate people. But this machine just has this really awesome sounding motor, and most of the time it just, because you know how it does those gentle agitation before it spins, that really aids in its balance. Because look at this, look at how well balanced this thing is, and that just really aids in its quietness. And just listen to it. It's really nice. I can use this machine. It's not too noisy, and it does a great job spinning. So I think for the speed it's going, it's actually really nice. Because for those of you who don't know, this machine does an 850 RPM spin speed, which is only like 250 short of what the Fisher does. Or no, it's technically 260, because I recently discovered that the Fisher, they actually do 1010. At least on the Aqua Smart washers, because you can actually read the spin speed on them. You can't tell on the regular ones. I'd have to get one of those RPM measurers or whatever they're called. But yeah, it's like, for the speed it goes, it's really quiet. Like, it's actually pretty awesome. And then you have that, like, just the subtle noise of the drain pump in the background. I'm really restricted by this. I'm just gonna pop this off for now. I've got enough battery to get the rest of the way. But just see, it's incredibly quiet. And yeah, you see how we've got the spin going for us now? The camera almost picks up the LED perfectly, but you can still see it flickers. And you can see even these buttons here are kind of cracked, but they're still hanging in there. The thing about the start button is the button that should be getting hit the most, especially if all your options are already there. It's usually just the power, the wash, and the start. And some people don't like to use the favorite button, which is something I find, so I mean, you don't really hit that. And then plus it's a smaller button, so it's more durable. And then you have this awesome addition of wave, and how the panel just kind of curves itself in. The model number and such is over here. If you want to have a read of that, you can, but I already had somebody decode it for me. Thanks, by the way, for the person that did that. But yeah, very recently I took the top off this machine. You would not believe how gross this machine looked. Because it had, additionally to the rust, it had this really hot, like, very, I don't know how to describe it, like a very interesting layer of dust. Honestly, it was like moist dust because it had been exposed to like the wetness or something, so it was a lot of work to, like, because I wanted to clean it up because it looked kind of nasty. And even the balance ring, because the balance rings, for some unknown reason, because I have no idea how they manage, but the tub rings somehow get ruined, like by clothes getting brushed up against them or something, and like completely ruins the look of the machine whole. I don't know how it happens, but they do it somehow. But anyways, I managed, because this machine had it, and I took the tub ring off and I cleaned it up with basically I peeled away the layer of whatever got ruined, and then I got some sandpaper and fined it, or like made it look nice, sort of. And yeah, the rust is still kind of exposed, but I got all the dust out, and also the tub ring is nice and clean. I wiped it off with a Dettol wipe, so it looks nice. The tub, because I can't get the screw out, the tub is still in there, so yeah, this thing is still, it's still got a bit of an odor to it, because I can't clean it. And the same with the Maytag. I haven't taken the tub out of the Maytag, so it still kind of has its odor as well. But then even the Whirlpool, which I took the tub out of and cleaned it, still has this odor to it as well, so there you go. So there you go. The machine's done, and in order to finish off, you have to press the power button. and it turns everything off. And if you don't do it 5 minutes, it'll do the same thing till you come over and switch it off. Which I consider to be because sometimes I leave the machines to do their own thing, and that's kind of like a downside for me. Because if I'm busy and I have to go over and turn it off, it can be kind of annoying. But again, it's not really a big deal, so. This is the towel that had the stains on it. I don't know if you might have seen it at the beginning of the video, so. As you'd expect, she did a good job. This is the other side. Yep, did a good job. So yeah, this machine did a great job with the laundry. It's too bad it had a solenoid failure. I'm gonna have to replace that. I will say though, this is quite a timely failure because, I guess, because with the inlet valve going bad, and I also have to replace the belt on this machine because I want to get it spinning like it used to. And then I also have another machine coming in very soon, so I would have put this machine in storage anyway. So yeah, this was I wouldn't say I'm not too disappointed. So yeah, and they're very cheap as well. So there you go, guys. That's the first video of the Kelvinator K605, and when I get working again, there will be more videos of it, as well as the rest of the collection and such. And I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your day, night, or wherever you are, and I will see you, as always, in the next video. So yeah, bye for now.